I will let you know, Jesse live. Okay. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of Supply Chain Talks. Today, we have Mr. Farooq Sheikh, CEO of LogiPoint, with us. And today, we will be taking a journey with him regarding his experience in logistics. And we will also try to get to know more about the company that he is heading, that is LogiPoint. So, as we embark on this webinar, this interview session, first of all, Mr. Farooq, welcome to Supply Chain Talks.
Thank you very much, Noman, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is all mine. So, before we jump into the company history, the company details, and logistics and supply chain, I would like to start off by getting to know you. Let the audience know who is Farooq Sheikh exactly.
All right. It's a very straight and simple powered answer to this. Simple and straightforward. I started in this industry immediately after my graduation. Had the opportunity to work with the best in the industry. Joined AB Muller Maersk Group way back in 1999, which was at that time was the largest shipping line and a conglomerate, and now it's an integrated logistics service provider. Was fortunate that I was given the task of going into challenging environments and learn by being at the deep end of the pond. So I worked all over Middle East with them, and about 12 years back, I joined Cisco Group and have been with them ever since.
Mr. Farooq, if you can repeat the last part of it, the signal broke off, I believe. So if you can repeat, since you joined Cisco Group over here.
Yeah, I have been with Cisco Group for the past 12 years. Worked with their port terminal development program way back in 2009, 10, 11. Then moved to the corporate head office as the group CFO. And for the last 2 years, I'm heading our logistics business, which falls under the LogiPoint umbrella.
Okay. That is very nice to learn. So, when we talk about your tenure in Saudi Arabia, how have you seen the logistics landscape evolve within the last 12 years that you have been here?
I think it's a cliche to use the term transformation for this one.
Oh,
This too is entirely a different world than what it was 12 years back. And I don't think our people would agree with me that it's not only logistics. Almost every sphere of the trade, the industry, the society has been transformed over the past 10, 12 years. The way I see it, of course, is now logistics industry is much more forward-looking, proactive, uh, and it's a true public and private partnership working hand in hand to enhance Kingdom's position in the global logistics arena. In the past, of course, as some of the people who have been with us for 10, 12 years would know that anyone trying to import or export anything out of the kingdom always had a jitters with regards to the processes because things were opaque. The transparency was not there. Now it's a much more transparent world where you know exactly where each and everything is moving and how you can get the process closed if you are involved in that process.
definitely. I've been a witness, not 12 years to it, But yes, I've been in the kingdom for almost 9 years, and I have seen that you are truly right that evolution is probably not the right word to define it, but definitely transformation has been there, and now it has put Saudi Arabia there on the map of global logistics and supply chain as well. So now coming to your now the current role that you embarked upon in the last 2 years back as the CEO of LogiPoint. So we would like to go deep into the LogiPoint, but for the audience, before we take your input on it, I would like to share some numbers. And actually, I've been a witness to that when I got a very special facility tour by you. And as I said back then as well, that it was like, leaving a small kid in a big toy store. I was very excited looking at all the facility and everything. And, I really felt like a small kid in with toys around. So
So
for
happy to hear
everyone, I would uh, thank you. So, just these few numbers that LogiPoint basically has approximately 1.8 million square meters of total land area, out of which around point 0.8 thousand, around 800,000 is open yard square meters, and around 350,000 square meter is the covered warehouse area. And in addition to that, they also have a huge 70,000 square meters of truck parking area, and in which is complemented by approximately 12,000 square meters of a truck service area. So I think I would now leave it to Mr. Farooq to take us through LogiPoint and all these numbers as well, and what defines LogiPoint.
Okay. Now, since you have presented these numbers, the audience will generally get an impression that probably we are in real estate because everything is square meter. And I'll define LogiPoint in two words. We are logistics enablers. Yes, at the core of that is our logistics real estate play, because we started off as the bonded re-export zone operator, the first and largest bonded re-export zone operator way back in 1999. And from there, we developed the bonded zone. Uh, then we have marketed it, and now we have been operating that bonded zone for the past 20 years. Then we, of course, said, okay, bonded zone is a regulatory framework. Whereas what the expertise that we have developed is in developing and operating of logistics park. So let's go out in the market, because in Saudi Arabia, as if you look at it, most of the businesses, even when they are dealing with FMCGs, are family-owned businesses. They are family operated, and traditionally, most of the big families also have a big land bank in the country. So almost every big trading or business family also seem to have a logistics park in the country, because they build their own warehouses, and all the capital business is then that pass through that warehouse, and then they set up a 3PL company to handle the volumes of their principals. So from there, we evolved as a true logistics park developer and operator. So we went out of the bonded zone. We secured concessions for two more locations in the kingdom, in Jeddah, and now we are working on expanding kingdom wide. But the story doesn't stop here. Developing, securing land, building warehouses, and maintaining them, anyone can do it. Uh, the story is by complementing it through support services, logistics support services, understanding what kingdom is doing, where kingdom wants to be, and how we can play our role in that. And this is where LogiPoint was a cut above the rest. where because being in the bonded zone, we had been working with Saudi customs authorities, we had been working with other regulatory agencies and everything. So here we took the lead and we started developing the programs which could enable this customs department's transformation. And we are happy to tell actually that even with Saudi customs, we work together hand in hand to remove the bottlenecks and uh, achieve, or at least have a role in achieving Vision 2030 objectives, where we could enable the Saudi logistics transformation. So this is where LogiPoint became a logistics enabler. It's just not a real estate developer for warehouses or logistics parks, but also enabling our customers to pass through all these requirements smoothly. And this is where LogiPoint has been ever since.
That is great, believe me. And you're truly right that under you and LogiPoint itself has gone through a transformation as well, as you said, that from kind of a real estate into an enabler. So that is great. And for our audience to understand more, I would like to run a small intro video regarding LogiPoint. So I'm putting the video on so that people can more understand visually what LogiPoint is.
We are the forerunners of innovation. We are the caretakers of everything from goods import to repackage and re-export till it reaches your location. We provide systemized solutions and impressive facilities, making it a heavenly experience for our customers. Headquartered in the world-renowned city of Jeddah. In 1999, our ambitious journey began. We built the kingdom's first and largest multi-purpose, bonded and re-export zone, strategically located at Jeddah Islamic Port. We take pride in our 18 years of impeccable services in major industries. Our passion for logistics solutions made us serve 360-degree services in this domain, touching upon all the process and added perks and facilities. Having all services under one name makes your logistics and shipping experience a flux and speedy. We touch upon every task that touches your business needs and makes it a fulfilling and rewarding experience. We exist to transform customer experience through our sophisticated multi-purpose logistics zone. Our pre-built and built-to-suit warehouses at Logistics Parks, South Jeddah are designed as per the international standards for best storage and management. Through the advanced security systems, we stay well guarded on all our operations. Our logistic parks, Modan 1 Jeddah, is one of its kind concept, developing several segments of utility for operating as a one-stop shop to provide logistics support services for industrial area users. Your business challenges are cutting-edge logistics solutions to uphold your business endeavors through customized, integrated, and cost-effective approach as per your shipping and logistics needs. We believe in simple, smart solutions that enhance the customer experience, and in cultivating long-term work relationships based on deep understanding of the logistics industry and by anticipating our clients' diverse needs. We are LogiPoint. We go one step further.
Welcome back.
Every time I
So
watch
I
this video,
think this video has given a very good insight into what LogiPoint is. And now I would move on with the our questions and interview. The next question kind of becomes redundant, but I still would like to hear more about you because the video gives that answer already. And my next question for you, Mr. Farooq, is that what actually sets LogiPoint apart from other service providers in the market? What is your niche?
uh, let me put it this way. I wouldn't call it quality or this, because these are very generic terms where anyone could claim those to be. What we have is a track record, and our customers speak for our performance. We have been trusted by all the big names in the industry to be their host. I'll call them host, not landlord. That they are our customers, tenants. Plus, we are their preferred supplier for support services when it comes to that. But what sets us apart is, of course, is the understanding and the pioneering spirit that we have. If you look at as whole all of the transformational projects, we have been the test bed for Saudi customs, Saudi authorities to test out the new initiatives that they wanted to launch. Anything that changes in the logistics industry in the country is usually consulted with us that how it can work. And this is where our experience comes in. For example, things which are common for the rest of the world. For Saudi Arabia, they were still novel a couple of years back, and it still is, because quite a number of systems that are used by the authorities, by I'll call it FASA or customs systems and all that, they still work on traditional and conventional approach, where the connectivity between various entry and exit points, the concept of sea to air and air to sea interchangeability or cross border was quite new to them, and that is what we have proved to them that this can work. So much so that we work with the authorities to develop and support in their systems development, and the issues where how to resolve those issues. And this is where our competitive advantage comes in. I know that this competitive advantage doesn't last long, because then everyone can replicate it. But then this is where it is that we stay ahead of the curve in pioneering new approaches, new solutions. And this is, I think, this is what sets us apart from rest of the industry. Of course, being the bonded zone operator gives you a certain leverage as well, that you are in thick and thin of things, that if anything is changing, you are the first one to see it, not the end recipient of any change. So I think this is where we have an advantage, and this is where we are leveraging our advantage to develop it further.
Yes. Thank you. And we will come to your bonded warehouse a little later. But before you talk about the services that you offer, so I would like to have more details on it. That what are the value-added services that LogiPoint is offering to its customers or to the market in general?
Okay. Uh, Let me take you a few years back. For this region, UAE has been a role model in providing value-added logistics services for rest of the region. The people usually do not, or it doesn't come to customers' mind that same thing could be done in the kingdom, even though it is the largest market and most of the goods that are passing through UAE or Jabal Ali usually end up in Saudi Arabia, because the consumption or consumer base is in this country.
Hmm.
So we tried, and now, but regulatory wise, we are in a unique situation where in kingdom there is no concept of free zones. Uh, so the next best thing closest to free zone was a bonded zone. So we embarked with on a journey with authorities to say that, okay, whatever could be done in UAE, why can't it be done over here? And I give due credit to the authorities that they embrace the idea and see, yes, given the framework that we have, different framework we have in the country, let's see it out. And this is where we started as a proof of concept that, what can be achieved in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia rather than uh, importing goods over land through other countries.
Mhm.
Imagine that we are Jeddah is on the Red Sea, where over 20% of world's cargo passes through. Uh, and if something is coming from Europe or West, US, and going to uh, UAE and then coming back from there in Saudi Arabia, imagine the time taken, uh, the additional costs, and everything. So we started from that idea, and then that idea evolved. So first of all, of course, we have some specific requirements with regards to labeling, with regards to packaging, repackaging. And when most of the FMCG companies produce their goods, they don't really, they do it in bulk for global consumption or regional consumption. They don't really distinguish from their base that, okay, this particular, unless the quantities are sizable, they are not being done, okay, this is for this particular country, this is for that particular country, uh, because that disrupts their whole manufacturing process, and which they do not want, of course, is an additional cost. It is a lot easier to do it near the consumption base, because awareness is there, the requirements are known to people, and they can easily change whatever comes in. So we started off from that, and our couple of earlier customers took a punt on that also, and they trusted us to deliver it. So what we started was with relabeling as per local SFDA requirements, as per local customs authorities requirement, language, Arabic, the expiry dates and everything. So we started from that. In same year, of course, there were new requirements came in about the packaging, that it has to be biodegradable and everything. So then we took a step further and started repackaging the goods. And now we have all the big names, all blue chip names, who for whom we do these, provide these services. Of course, we did it as a proof of concept, and now some of our customers, and we kept made it open to our customers that if they want to provide these services, fine, we are happy with it. There's not an exclusivity that we will do it, because we want to develop this market segment. And second step was, so once this was done, I said, okay, what next? Why Saudi Arabia is the natural hub, or Jeddah for us is a natural hub for all these things. So why can't we use Jeddah's location on the Red Sea, on the major east-west trade, to start cross-border deliveries to rest of the country, rest of the country, as well as to other countries in the region. Think of frozen goods or refrigerated cargo with very short shelf life. If it is being imported from Mediterranean and offloaded at Jeddah and delivered to either Kuwait or Bahrain from here, you shave off about 7-8 days of transit time, which increases their shelf life, and the clearance is done a lot smoother. And with Jeddah ports productivity improving, they don't have to have those productivity related challenges are faced in other countries in the Gulf region.
Okay. Yes. Uh, to be honest, on your value-added services, when I was taking a round with you, I saw that your team and the facility that you have is exceptional, and you have the capacity to even take in more and more volumes for these services for the clients and the market. Uh, Now, there's one more thing which, when you talked about the bonded warehouse concept, that definitely it's not the free zone, but it is very near to that. And the service that you're providing on the bonded warehouse, there was a tagline I was going through your website which caught my eye, and I would appreciate if you can, elaborate more and link it how it is with the bonded warehouse. That your tagline is 0% VAT, duties and demurrage. So, if you may help us understand this more.
Yeah. This is now we are talking the whole bonded zone in general. It's not only related to warehouses, it is also related to open yards and everything. Now, of course, when anything, anywhere in the world, goods are imported on and off, there are issues in clearance, on documentation, or processing, so on. So, and then if you are importing something under one consolidated bill of lading, then you have to clear all the goods at the same time. So if you are clearing, for example, you are an auto trader and you are importing about 1,000 vehicles. You want to clear all 1,000 vehicles in one time. So what will happen is that you will have to settle the customs duty and VAT at the time of clearance. And then when you sell, then you are able to recover those costs. So the advantage that is there in bonded zone is that you lease the area. So now your cost is fixed. You already know that what will be your total cost. And as soon as the vehicles or your goods or anything that they arrive, you just move them to the bonded zone. And then you release them when you make the sale or re-export. So only when you are, of course, any trader is making a sale, then he's collecting the payment from the customer. So VAT and custom duty is already collected over there. And then only the vehicle is moved out of the bonded zone. So this way, there is no working capital investment in the duties, demurrages, or VAT. So here goods can be stored without paying the duties and demurrages. There is no retention. Custom containers could be returned. Cargo could be de-stuffed in the warehouses, and containers could be returned. And also, we have the facilities for refrigerated goods where we can just plug them in, and so customer knows that his cargo is there. There is no clock running on his costs, and he can take the delivery of goods whenever he wants it and wherever he wants it.
So basically, to sum up, the service that you're providing is not just helping companies to free up their own space, their own yard or warehouse space by using your, but also you're helping them to improve their cash flow, that they don't have to pay the customs duty and the VAT as soon as the shipment arrives, but they can actually pay it when they actually probably make a sale and they actually need to deliver. So you have your service is basically from a financial angle. If I see it, you are helping the companies with the cash cycle as well.
Precisely. And of course, there is no reduction quality of service that's top notch, and costs are fixed, so they can plan better. Not only obviously, because otherwise we are aware that some of our customers had been running into trouble with regards to custom duties or VAT and demurrage, because it's on per day basis. Whereas here it's not on per day basis. You can just fix it. Some of the customers actually they still like the idea, surprisingly, of paying it on per day basis. So we give them an option. Okay, if you don't want a fixed area or anything, then we can have a daily rental arrangement at least. So you can rent it on day by day basis instead of locking yourself in on annual or monthly contracts.
This is great. So this basically you are providing in your service the factors or the parameters of agility and flexibility as well to your customers as well. This is great. And moving forward, you also mentioned when we were talking about the niche and the value-added services, about moving to Kuwait and your shipments moving to Kuwait and other the other regions across from this area, how customers are moving their cargo. There's another thing, a service which I came across was the cross-border Gulf. So, would like to, if you may elaborate, what exactly is cross-border Gulf?
Okay, I will provide you a bit of a background of that, how it evolved. Uh, I think our audience knows about the famed land bridge project, Saudi land bridge. That was the railway connectivity connecting east with west, and it has been in the pipeline for a long time. we realized that, okay, why do we need to be dependent? Railway is just a mode of transportation. Okay, we already have a very good infrastructure with regards to road network. So why can't we have that concept of land bridge and deliveries taking from Jeddah instead? Traditionally, Riyadh market was served through Dammam, where we had a railway link with going to from Dammam seaport to Riyadh dry port. So why can't we serve that market? If a container, especially the cold chain container or cold chain cargo, has to go all the way to eastern region and then from there to them, we can just take it from here and deliver it in the country. So when we started this, it was a huge success. Uh, we said, okay, why stop within the country? Why can't we extend this to Bahrain, to Kuwait? And actually, surprisingly, our UAE service has been very, very successful. People don't think that something will be going from Saudi to UAE. Usually, people have this concept in the mind that Batha border, which is the UAE Saudi border, things are coming in only, not the other way around. And this is where we said, okay, let's turn the tables and start working with customers so that we do the deliveries to UAE, Oman, Bahrain, and Kuwait. And this is how the concept of cross-border Gulf developed. That, okay, from Jeddah, we do deliveries all over the Gulf.
This is great actually, because there are many. There's always coming from experience that you always are troubled when you're trying to do shipments across the Saudi borders by land, and with the portfolio that LogiPoint has, is that so that is an exceptional market player now for people to utilize your services. Uh, so now I would now redirect our questions to more on the recent events on we all were impacted by COVID. Unfortunately, it took the world by surprise. People were not ready for it, such a pandemic. And from your perspective as LogiPoint, that my question for you is that how has COVID redefined the industry practices in logistics, and how did LogiPoint respond to it?
COVID, I remember when we were doing the budgeting, and even after the budgets in January and February uh, this year, earlier this year, we were working on some of the expansion plans. COVID was nowhere on the paper to be discussed. It was, no one saw it coming. Let me put it this way. It was that kind of a black swan event. Yes, we always talk about political risk and everything, but the global pandemic uh, and the whole world being shut down for months, no one had ever imagined it. So obviously, you adapt, you solve the problems, and that will keep you ahead of the pack. That you have to be proactive in solving. And our first two priorities in that was our employees' health and safety, and our commitment to our customers. We, being in the logistics industry, of course, were exempt, partially exempt from the lockdown. So we had an added responsibility to make sure that the supply chain cycle continues. Because if we also go under lockdown, then it would have been quite disruptive, especially for medical supplies, for food items, and other essential deliveries. So this is where these were our two priorities. Now, the experience of COVID was also a good one for both from internal and external perspective. One, that we were able to test our business continuity plans, which alhamdulillah worked very well. And all credit to our team who went beyond the call of duty to meet our customers' requirements. And without, I think, a company is as good as its team. And without our team, we could not have done that. But then on the positive side of this one, our customers realize that we are there supporting them during troubled times, even though most of our customers were unable to serve their ultimate customers, which actually we always follow our customers. But we made sure that we are there for them and we are there for their customers as well. Now, how it affected our business plan? Actually, surprisingly, we received quite a goodwill in that process, and the demand for our services has skyrocketed after that. People know how we operate and the requirements for bonded zone warehousing facilities and everything else around it has picked up. And we have put our expansion plans on fast track so that we are able to meet the market demand going forward.
Great. I agree with you. I have been for years and years telling everybody, being in supply chain almost all my career, I've been saying to everyone that, you cannot work with suppliers. When you only work with suppliers, when you call them suppliers, they do not really worry about you. You need to consider them as partners. And once you have a service provider or supplier as a partner, as an extended arm of your company, then only you can be relaxed because you know that the expertise that you are taking from them, they will take care of your business. We can be relaxed as an entity. Our service providers, our partners can provide us that feeling of relaxation and carefree. It can provide us that. And secondly, that one more point that now during this pandemic, people, I hope that they have realized the important role of logistics and supply chain in total. That yeah, when competition is happening between entities, my opinion is that usually the competition is between the supply chains of and the one supply chain with the other supply chain. How good you can bring your product to the market or to your area, how good better you can transport, how optimum cost can be there without endangering quality and the customer service part of it. So uh, I think COVID has helped everyone realize the importance of logistics and supply chain in total.
True.
So,
It has been a great learning experience. So yes, you are right.
yes, thank you. So now coming to continuing with the same point, you mentioned Vision 2030 as well earlier in our discussion, and I asked partially this question before as well, that how the landscape has evolved or transformed. But my question to you is very specific regarding LogiPoint now. That how has LogiPoint contributed in the development of logistics services in Saudi Arabia, especially in the light of Vision 2030?
I will answer this question by answering you a question. Did you ever hear about value added services or cross border trade happening from Saudi Arabia before LogiPoint? If you did not, so you are
That is the
yes. If you did not, you know how LogiPoint is leading from the front in implementing the vision of 2030 when it comes. Vision 2030 is not only about Saudi Arabia, especially when it comes to logistics. It's making Saudi Arabia a regional force in the logistics industry. I would call it is that reclaiming its due spot in the history of logistics. Because despite being the largest country, largest economy with a very sizable population, we in this country have been served by the countries which are just outside the border. It should have naturally, if we are the largest market, the other countries should have been served by Saudi Arabia. This is how I see it. So it's not that transforming it. We had always been very I would say, internal focused. For the first time in our history, we are now external focused when it comes to trade facilitation and development.
Mhm.
So this is where it is. And we had been, actually, it's not that it's only in recent past. All these solutions had been proposed to various government agencies in the past as well, because it involves lots of documentation, the process work, the process amendment with customs, with border authorities, and so those have to align. But what we found in last 2 3 years was a willingness to listen, to adapt, and to change. Never heard of a trade facilitation unit in Saudi customs before, but now we have it. And the whole objective of the trade facilitation unit was to promote the trade, not only national, but as well as regional. And they found, I would say, and we found the right partner in them, and they found the right partner in us, so that we have been able to launch these services. So if anyone asks me, okay, what is our role? I just ask them this question. Did you ever hear about these things in Saudi Arabia before LogiPoint came along? So this is what the answer is.
Thank you. And to be honest, Mr. Farooq, when I met you a couple of weeks back and we talked about LogiPoint, and then you took me through the facility. It was an eye opener for me as well that such a service and such an entity is available now in Saudi Arabia and doing wonders. And the best part of it, which in my opinion sets you apart as well, is the customer centric approach as well. That you are not just putting out that this is my product and take it or leave it, but you are actually understanding what is the demand in the market, and you are trying to bring out the right solutions and tailored fit solutions as well. You are willing to provide a good flexible solution to your customers. So I think that is my input on that, what sets you apart as well as LogiPoint. uh, So now, a few days back, a couple of weeks back, I did another webinar which was about the women in supply chain, and during our session, you shared a story as well about some years back on the terminal, some females were hired. So my question next is regarding the gender diversity. Uh, in general in this domain. I truly believe that there is a big gap when it comes to gender diversity. And uh, from your perspective, I would like to understand where does LogiPoint stands on it, and not just LogiPoint, as an industry in total. That is this industry right? Are the right avenues available for females to come into this industry?
Uh, I shared my struggles or our struggles with you, because traditionally logistics is not perceived as one of the glamorous industries uh, when you talk about, because obviously uh, qualified talent has many avenues available, and usually people will choose the names they are familiar with and the environment which is less taxing, especially for uh, female workforce, where you don't have to pass through multiple checkpoints, working with all levels of management, including labor, and then all the way up to the senior management level. So these logistics is not generally perceived as, I would say, a female friendly industry that you could see, especially if you are also sitting in the port area, because that has its added complexity. But as you have seen walking around and everything, uh, the females of Saudi Arabia are breaking barriers, and they have been in the terminals now, in our company as well. They have been now joining and great numbers, and actually we welcome this change because there are quite a few fields in the logistics. It's not that I'm specifying that, but I think there are many avenues available for them where they can excel. And I would say that in most cases, they will excel better than men in logistics industry, because not all muscle heavy taxing jobs. It's more planning where you require gray matter, and where you, I think there are plenty of avenues available for female workforce to come and join this industry. And actually, through this your program, I would want to give a shout out that yes, the world has been changing now, and as the kingdom is opening up, so the industries, various industries within the kingdom, and especially the ports, terminals, and logistics industry, to be precise, where I think we will see more and more female colleagues joining us in near future.
That is great, and believe me, I agree with you that the female workforce in Saudi Arabia now, they are a force to reckon with. Anywhere that they are going, they are making waves. They are standing out, and they are showing everyone that they are here and they mean business, and they do deliver. They are delivering in big amounts for organizations, for the community, for society in general as well. So, uh, very good on this. Uh, Coming to now next point, a little bit about that your organization, your group has been one of the leading groups when it comes to logistics services. And this is where, personally, I have seen there has been a lag that, industry or industry leaders should use their expertise and their platforms to provide opportunities to professionals, young professionals, to train them or to at least provide them avenues where they can learn, not just by working for them, but as an institute, as a training center. Universities are doing a good job, but universities, I always feel that the bookish knowledge and the street smart knowledge or the actual operational knowledge, there's always a gap. And this is where entities like you can come in and fill the gap and provide. So, again, my question after this whole thing is that what are LogiPoint plans on it, and where do you see yourself provide in the training avenue for Saudi Arabia?
I personally cannot agree more with you. I myself am a product of a similar program in early career when I joined Equipolar Group, and I truly believe in value of having such opportunities. LogiPoint is already recognized as a training institute for the logistics industry locally, where most of our colleagues have gone out as our ambassadors, joining a multitude of industries and applying their trade over there. So we definitely believe in grooming, training, and development our program. Our colleagues, especially the young graduates who are joining us every year. Some go through a structured training program or as a graduate trainee. Others uh, go follow a free flow approach, cater to their own preferences and specialization. So we training and development is a key element of LogiPoint sustainability. Let me put it this way, because developing future leaders for our own company as well as for the industry in general is one of the core principles where LogiPoint believes in and works for.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I hope that more and more people take advantage of the expertise that LogiPoint is providing through the ambassadors, through their workforce as well. So, now coming to the end or the last topic of our discussion, then we will move to the questions that have been put forward by our valued participants. My last question is that, again, we are living in the new normal, and every one of us, on a personal basis, on a professional basis, career, whilst they are, going through a tough times. Many of us, many people have lost their jobs, or one thing or the other has happened to them. So from that perspective, I would appreciate that you being a leader in the market, in the country, one of the leaders. What advice would you give to people based on this new normal that we are living in now?
See, first of all, this new normal should make us realize that we will be going to live in a world which will be far more different than what we are used to in the past. The change will be very rapid and very sudden. The old concept of comfort in a place is no more there. So, my advice usually will be don't be afraid of change. It is all momentary, and have optimistic outlook, positive outlook towards the future. Believe in yourself and in your abilities, and regardless of how long it takes, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 years. Uh, we, we follow stories of many people who have lost their jobs, livelihoods, but they embarked on totally different thing, and probably they found an opportunity to pursue their passion and became quite successful after that. Now, with regards to unemployment wave coming in, this is not the first time it has happened. We have seen it happening during the financial crisis, and we have seen it happening at every second, third, fourth year for one reason or another. We saw it happening in 2015, 16 after the crash of oil price in our country and in the region. So changes are happening too many and far too frequently. So we should be open to those, and we should always look for opportunities during those periods. And maybe we may find our calling during this phase of transition. So my final word would be always be optimistic, always be open to different. Don't live in your comfort zone that whatever you have done or we have done in the past, we want to continue the same way going forward as well.
So true. Uh, I couldn't agree with you more. I've I have always given advice that over the last few months, I've been able to, with this platform of mine, Supply Chain Talks, I've been able to interact with a lot of people, young professionals as well. And this is one advice that I give, similar to what you are saying, that one has to be patient. Tough times come and go, and the patient one are the one who survive it. So be thankful for what you have and be patient. So uh, things go fine. So now, Mr. Farooq, from my side, the questions have ended, and it was a pleasure listening to you. But we have quite a few questions from our participants for you as well. So I will be taking one question at a time.
All right.
So let's try to go through them. Thank you, everyone who have put your questions forward, and Mr. Farooq would be now answering them. So the first question is, I will display it as well. What's your market share in KSA? A very direct question.
No, and it's a very relevant question as well.
Yes.
It depends on how you define the market. Do you define the market by saying total warehousing capacity available in the market? Or do you define in the warehousing capacity that we have? Or do you define our share, or like how much percent of total cargo we handle which passes through Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? So it depends on how you define it. If you are talking about the total trade volume of the kingdom, of course we are very small. There are plenty of players, and one thing about Saudi market is that it's very fragmented. You don't have a single dominant player. Now, when you talk about bonded zones, there are only two in the country at the moment. All right, and we are the larger one, and everyone. So bonded zone element is one, but if you look at the overall warehousing space available in the country, of course, country has about more than 20 million square feet of warehousing space available, but not all to the quality that we provide. So it's very difficult to define the market. Uh, but in each market segment, we are one of the major players when it comes to it.
Okay. Thank you. Next question is from the same participant, which is, how much is your workforce size?
It all depends on how you define a workforce on regular basis and irregular basis. Since our primary area is operating the logistics park and then providing services in the logistics park, we don't compete with our customers who provide logistics services to rest of the country and end consumers. So workforce wise, we are not that large, but if you have incorporate nowadays both permanent and semi-permanent outsourced employees, we are about 300 plus.
100 plus. Great. Next question from the same. Three questions. Good. Is the right human resource available for recruitment in KSA for your type of work? For, I believe, for logistics and warehousing and services.
Definitely. You just need to look at the right place for the right caliber. Definitely. I do believe that the skill set is available in the market. And if it is not, you find many adaptive people you could groom and train to be expert at what you want them to be.
Yes. Uh, I agree with you that the mashallah, the young talent which is now coming or are available, they are exceptional. And the good thing is that even the universities over here now they have come on board as well, and many universities are also providing supply chain management, bachelor's program as well. So a lot of people from the supply chain academic background are also coming into the market as well, into the work pool. Uh, the next question is from Ms. Safia Samar. Uh, Her question is, what common operational bottlenecks do you anticipate? Kindly give examples of something you have faced with a solution.
Uh, I will break this question down into two, actually. Being the pioneer and the launch pad for something new always comes with its own challenges, which the industry hasn't faced before, which our customers haven't faced before. But then this is where we work with our customers that see when we are doing your first, second, third shipments, treat them as trials because uh, the authorities will be learning. You can bet on our willingness, intent, and honesty that we will make this happen. But we are not sure how the systems work. So this is how we have developed all our products. That we do trials with involving all the government authorities, with the port authorities, with the guards, border guards, with the customs, that their systems are aligned, our systems are aligned. So during those trials, of course, problems happen. But once those kinks are ironed out, then they go smoothly. Like obviously cross-border Gulf we spoke about, value-added services we spoke about, export consolidation that we haven't touched on, but this is one of the services. So in the beginning, of course, these problems do happen, but then we get them resolved. We do the trials, small trials. Once everyone signs off on the process and the methodology, then we roll it out and make it public for everyone involved and all other customers.
Okay. Thank you. Next question is an interesting one from Mr. Nadeem. That is, do LogiPoint has any cleaning and washing of rental IBC boxes, including storage, clearance, and replenishment?
Uh, there are a few things because there are
Uh,
environmental considerations. One, yes, we have thought about it and everything, but environmental consideration, sustainability is a key part of our philosophy. So, due to environmental considerations and having that infrastructure in place is not that straightforward. So, provide these services within the bonded zone, of course, is going to be very difficult. However, can we have these services outside the bonded zone in our other logistics park? Yes, it is possible. Not at this time, but yes, in future it can be developed over there. But making sure that all the environmental considerations, rules, and regulations are obeyed, because we do not believe in following what the practice has been in the past.
Okay. I think now we will take the last question also from Mr. Nadeem, and that will bring our interview session to an end. So the last question is, do you have any branches or offices globally?
Uh, our business actually is very local. Development of the logistics park, and whether we don't provide, you would say, traditionally a freight forwarding service that you will need global counterparts. And so we don't have any branches out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Uh, there has always been a discussion that should we get going with any international expansion plan and developing and operating new logistics parks abroad. But I think at this point in time, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has so much to offer that we have our hands full, and we want to focus on our home base at the moment.
Okay, thank you. So that basically brings our Q&A session to an end, and also brings our an amazing session with you, Mr. Farooq, to an end as well. And I thank you again that you honored Supply Chain Talks to be here to have a one-on-one with me. And I also learned a lot from you, and hopefully all our audience and in future as well who will be watching this session as well, they will learn. And again, LogiPoint again is as you mentioned, that is the oldest and the largest logistics parks operator in Saudi Arabia. So I thank you again. Thank you for your time.
Noman, it has been a pleasure and an honor to be on your program, on your show. Thank you very much for inviting me and be a part of this. I wish you all the best as you continue with your series in future.
Thank you. So this concludes our session today. So thank you, everyone. Till next time. Take care. Salam alaikum.
Thanks. Walaikum salam.